Chosen one, this message did not arrive in front of you by accident. Out of every other thing your hands could have opened tonight, something larger than coincidence placed this exact word in your path at this exact hour. And if your chest tightened when you saw the title, if something inside you leaned forward before your mind caught up, pay attention. That was your spirit recognizing a word it has been waiting a long time to hear. So before I say another sentence, I want you to set your phone down for a moment. Take one slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. Whatever weight you walked into this room carrying, set it down for the next half hour. Because what I am about to walk you through is not motivation, and it is not encouragement. It is a recognition. The Father has been preparing an announcement over your life, and tonight is the night the seal on it breaks. Everything I share in the next half hour is free. But if at any point your spirit tells you there is something more meant for this season, the link is in the description and pinned comment. Only follow it if you feel led. Right now, stay with me, because the weight you have lived through is about to make a very different kind of sense, and there is a part near the end I do not want you to miss. Before I begin, I want to tell you exactly what you are going to receive if you stay with me through to the closing words. I am going to walk you through 5 quiet signs that have already been showing up in your life over the past few weeks, and I am going to explain why each one is connected to the announcement being released over you right now. I am going to take you back into a story most people read once and forget. The story of a woman whose wait was so long that almost everyone around her had stopped expecting her name to be called, and yet her wait ended on a single specific morning. I am going to give you a Greek word that will reorganize the meaning of every delayed season you have ever lived through. And right at the end, I am going to lead you through a short, quiet inner activation that will seal everything we have walked through together. So sit with me. Stay with me. This is worth your full attention. Let me show you the signs that have already been showing up in your life, the ones you have been noticing but not quite naming, because the announcement does not arrive without a herald. It arrives with a body that begins to feel different before the mind understands why. The first sign is a tiredness that does not match anything you can point to. You went to bed at a normal hour. You did not work harder than usual. And yet you wake up with a heaviness in your bones that food cannot fix and coffee cannot lift. This is not the kind of tired that comes from doing too much. It is a tired that comes from carrying something invisible for a very long time. Your body has been holding a weight on behalf of your spirit, and that weight is shifting. This is not exhaustion. This is your body releasing its grip on a season that is already ending. The second sign is the way your emotions have been moving in waves you cannot trace back to anything specific. One moment, there is peace. The next moment, there is sadness rising in your chest, for no reason you can name. And then, just as quietly, a small wave of hope returns from somewhere you had stopped looking. You sit with your coffee, or you sit at a red light, or you stand at the kitchen sink, and a tear shows up uninvited. This is not instability. This is your inner world rearranging itself for what is coming next. The third sign is the way certain places, certain conversations, certain rooms you used to feel at home in have started to feel draining in a way they never did before. You did not pick a fight with anyone. You did not change your beliefs overnight. But something inside you cannot stay the same length of time in the old environments anymore. You leave gatherings earlier. You answer the phone less often. You crave silence in a way that almost feels antisocial. This is not coldness. This is your frequency rising past the room. The fourth sign is the small, almost uncanny way the same numbers have been showing up in moments you needed reassurance. The same scripture appears across 2 unrelated conversations in the same week. A phrase you spoke privately to yourself comes back to you from the mouth of someone who could not have known it. You glance at the clock at the moment it lines up. You open a book to a page that answers the question you were carrying. This is not your imagination. This is the Father leaving small confirmations along your path, because what is about to be released is too significant to be missed. The fifth sign is the way your dreams in the last few weeks have been more vivid than you can remember. You wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning with the residue of something that felt more real than your waking life. You cannot always remember the details, but you remember the feeling. There was a room. There was a name. There was a sense of being seen. This is not random. This is your spirit, being given previews of a season your conscious mind is not yet ready to hold. And before I move on, I hear the spirit saying, gently, and I want to be careful with these words. Tell my child I have been calling their name long before they heard me. Tell my child the silence was never absence. So if any of these signs landed for you tonight, type the words I felt that into the comments below. Not for me, for your own spirit. There is something that happens when you put a recognition into language. It moves from inside you to outside you, and the moving is part of how the announcement becomes real. What you are standing in right now, chosen one, is the first crack of frost giving way. The winter you walked through was real. The winter was also temporary, and the spring on the other side does not arrive with thunder. It arrives the way real spring arrives. Slowly, then suddenly. But this raises the question that almost no one is willing to answer honestly. Why did the wait take this shape? Why this long? Why these specific years? Because if the announcement was always going to come, then what was the wait actually for? Stay with me, because the answer is the part that changes everything. There are 3 quiet reasons your wilderness season took the exact shape that it did, and once you see them, the years of waiting reorganize in your mind. They stop feeling like a punishment. They start feeling like a preparation room. The first reason is what the older traditions called capacity expansion. The container had to be stretched before the contents could be poured. If everything you were waiting for had arrived 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, it would have arrived to a version of you that could not yet hold it. The waiting was not a closed door. The waiting was an unseen widening. Every disappointment you survived widened your trust in something larger than circumstances. Every quiet act of faithfulness no one applauded widened your inner authority. Every prayer that seemed to bounce back unanswered widened the part of you that could keep speaking even when the heavens were silent. You are bigger now than you were when this season began. The Father did not delay your blessing. He was building the room your blessing was going to live in. The second reason is what I would call counterfeit elimination. There were doors that almost opened in the last few years. There were people who almost stayed. There were opportunities that came close enough to feel real, and then quietly stepped back. And every single one of them, looking back, would have been the wrong key in the right lock. The wait was not the Father refusing to give you what you asked for. The wait was the Father refusing to give you something that wore the face of what you asked for, but was not actually it. Counterfeits are loud at the beginning and devastating at the end. The real thing is quieter at the beginning and unshakable at the end. The years of waiting trained your spirit to tell the difference. You will know the real announcement when it lands, because the years taught your spirit a kind of discernment that no shortcut could have given you. The third reason is the one almost nobody talks about. Underneath everything that was visible during your wait, an invisible root system was growing. Every prayer you whispered in the dark was a root. Every act of integrity no one applauded was a root. Every tear you let fall instead of swallowing was a root. The reason most people who receive a sudden visible blessing collapse under it within a year is that they had no root system. The reason your blessing is being released in this season, instead of an earlier one, is that the Father refused to put weight on a structure that had not yet been buried deep enough to hold it. What is hidden, built first. What is visible, builds second. And the chosen one who has done the hidden work is the one whose visible season does not topple. Let me show you what this looks like in a story most people skip past. There was a woman in the temple in the city of Jerusalem whose name was Anna. She was a widow. She had been a widow for so long that the Gospel of Luke marks her age very specifically. She was 84. She had lived through the loss of her husband when she was very young, and from that loss forward, she had given her days to the temple, day and night, the text says, fasting and prayer. For decades, the people who passed her in the temple courtyards saw a woman who had been standing in the same place for so long that almost no one expected anything to change for her. And then, on one specific morning, a young couple walked into the temple holding a baby. Anna looked up, and in that moment, the wait of 84 years ended. She did not hear thunder. She did not see fire. She simply recognized, in the body of an 8-day-old child, the answer to a prayer she had been carrying since she was a young woman. She stepped forward, she gave thanks out loud, and every person within the sound of her voice that morning was given a piece of the announcement she had been waiting her whole life to deliver. There was another woman, generations earlier, named Hannah, who waited so long for a child that she stopped being able to eat. Her wait ended too. The pattern is older than either of them, and the pattern has not changed. Let me pause here for a moment. I want you to notice that you have been listening to this for a while now. Your shoulders are probably tense. Your jaw is probably holding something it does not need to hold. Before we keep going, take one slow breath. Just one. There is no rush in the next part. Nothing you need to receive, nothing you need to release. Just one breath, and then we continue. Because what I am about to share next is the part that matters most. Now, before we go any further, I want to mention something briefly, and then I am going to step right back into the story. While I was preparing this message, I kept being drawn back to a piece of work by a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, who has spent more than 3 decades studying a specific brainwave called the gamma frequency. What the older mystics might have called the frequency of the inspired mind, the frequency of the child, the frequency you carried before the years dimmed it. He has built a short audio tool around that research, and it is called the Genius Song. I will say more about it later, when the story we are walking through asks for it. For now, the only thing you need to know is that if your spirit is already pulling at the edges of this, the link is in the description and the pinned comment below. Only investigate if you feel led. We will come back to it. Right now, the announcement is what matters. Because there is a Greek word the Father is releasing over your life right now, and most teachers never define it. There is a difference between the kind of time your phone shows and the kind of time the heavens release. There is a difference between waiting the way a clock waits and waiting the way a season waits. And once you understand the word the Father is speaking over your life in this hour, the entire shape of your wait is going to reorganize in front of you. Stay with me. This is the part that everything else has been preparing you to hear. Welcome back, Chosen One. If you stayed with me through the first part of this message, that itself is a sign. Most people drift away when the wait gets long, even inside a half-hour video. The fact that you returned says something about the kind of person who is being addressed tonight. So let me give you the word I promised you. The Greek word is kairos. It is spelled K-A-I-R-O-S. And to understand what it means, you have to first understand the word it is contrasted with, which is chronos. Chronos is the word for clock time. It is the time on your phone. It is the time on a calendar. It is the time that ticks forward, whether anyone is watching it or not. Chronos is the kind of time that asks how long. The other word, kairos, is something completely different. Kairos is the appointed moment, the shaped moment. The moment that exists not because the clock said so, but because everything around it has aligned for it to land. Kairos is the kind of time that asks who is ready. And here is the part that almost no one teaches. The Father does not run your life on Chronos. The Father runs your life on Kairos, which means the years of clock waiting were never the real measurement of your season. The real measurement was readiness, and readiness has now arrived. When Kairos lands on a life, 3 things begin to shift, almost in the same season, sometimes within weeks of each other. The first thing that shifts is visibility. People who could not see you for years suddenly see you. Doors that pretended you were not in the hallways suddenly open. The same gift you have been carrying for a decade is suddenly recognized by the right pair of eyes. What felt like silence was actually preparation. What felt like delay was actually design. What felt like absence was actually formation. What felt like rejection was actually selection. The second thing that shifts is the people around you. Right relationships begin arriving. Wrong relationships begin quietly exiting, sometimes without a fight, sometimes without even a goodbye. Do not chase the ones who are leaving. Do not block the ones who are arriving. Just notice. The third thing that shifts is provision. The way money, opportunity, and resource flow into your life starts to feel less like effort and more like recognition. You stop having to push the door. The door starts opening because of who you have become. Let me tell you about a woman who lived through this exact shift. I am going to call her by her role rather than her name, because what matters is the pattern. She was a teacher. She had carried a quieter calling underneath her teaching for 11 years. She had whispered about it. She had written about it in private. She had stopped telling people about it because the wait had taken longer than she could explain. And then, on a Tuesday morning at 14 minutes past 6, she was standing at her kitchen sink washing a coffee cup, and she heard her own name spoken in her spirit with a clarity she could not deny. Within 9 days, a door she had stopped knocking on opened from the inside. She did not break the door. The weight broke the door. And before I take you any further, I hear the Spirit saying, slowly, I have not been silent. I have been working in the rooms you could not yet enter. The announcement was not delayed. The announcement was timed. If something inside you just shifted, even quietly, type the words I receive into the comments below. Not because I am asking for engagement, because there is something that happens when your fingers move in agreement with your spirit. The receiving becomes embodied. Now stay with me, because before I show you the part of this announcement most people miss, and I will show you, there is one more thing I need to make sure you understand. And this one is the part that changes the meaning of every weight you have ever lived through. So let me ground us for a moment. In the plainest language I can find, here is what we have walked through together so far. The reason your weight took the shape it did is because the season was building 3 things at once that any one of them alone would not have been enough. It was building capacity inside you. It was eliminating counterfeits around you. And it was growing a hidden root system underneath you. The Greek word for the season you are now stepping into is kairos, which means the time you are entering is not measured by the clock. It is measured by readiness, and the readiness has come. The signs are showing up in your body, in your emotions, in your environment, in your dreams, and in the small confirmations the Father keeps placing in your path. This message tonight is for the chosen one who has been faithful in the silence, the one who kept showing up when no one was watching, the one who quietly wondered whether the heavens had skipped over their name. The heavens did not. They never do. And here is where I want to come back to the tool I mentioned earlier, because this is the natural place for it in the story. The Genius Song is a short audio track, about 7 minutes long, that you listen to once a day with stereo headphones. It was developed by Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist with 34 years of work behind him, in dialogue with research from MIT, Princeton, and other leading institutions. What Dr. Lake mapped over those 3 decades is something neuroscience now calls the decline effect. From around the age of 7, the natural gamma frequency that children carry, the frequency that makes them learn fast, intuit easily, and feel deeply connected to the world around them, begins to dim. The schooling system dims it. The pace of modern life dims it. The chronic stress of waiting too long for things that should have arrived dims it. By the time most adults reach the season you are in, that frequency has been operating at a fraction of what it was designed to carry. You were not born ordinary. You were born with the same gamma frequency that children carry, and the weight you just lived through dimmed it further than any other season of your life. The reason this matters tonight is because what is about to be announced over you requires the frequency that the weight suppressed. A friend of mine, a teacher in a different city than the one I just mentioned, wrote to me a few months ago. She had begun listening to the audio every morning for 7 minutes. By the 3rd week, she said, the dreams had returned. By the 5th week, the recognition she had been chasing for years arrived without her chasing it. Dr. Lake calls this the first piece of a longer system he has built. There are deeper phases that reveal themselves only after the first one takes root. But the first piece is what we are talking about tonight, and it is the only piece that needs to be talked about right now. Some of you, before I go further, are already thinking, I have tried meditation, I have tried breathwork, I have tried sound healing. This is different in mechanism, not just packaging. Meditation asks the brain to change itself from the inside, slowly, with effort. Brain entrainment delivers the frequency from the outside directly into the auditory cortex through binaural delivery. Of the 18,366 people who have already used the audio, fewer than 4% have requested a refund, which means more than 96% have kept it and continued using it past the guarantee window. A note before I tell you the price. Dr. Lake has built more than a single product. There is a body of work behind him that you may discover later if today's piece takes root. For now, the piece I am pointing you to is the genius song. The reason the price will sound low is not because the value is low. The reason the price is low is because Dr. Lake's stated mission, in his own work on the youthful brain and elsewhere, is to put this into the hands of the people who actually need it, not the people who can afford to gatekeep it. A single therapy session today runs around $150 and does not target gamma. A weekend retreat runs $400 to $800 and does not target gamma. A meditation app subscription runs around $15 a month and does not target gamma. A biofeedback clinic runs around $300 per session, repeated for weeks, and even that does not directly target gamma the way Dr. Lake's research does. None of them, at any price point, do what this 7-minute audio is designed to do. The original price of the audio is $49. The price for those watching this video is $39, one time, no subscription, delivered as a digital file the moment you finish checkout. With the audio, you receive 4 bonuses. A calmer version of the same audio designed for a child you may want to give it to, valued at $19. A classic book that the modern movement called The Secret was originally inspired by, valued at $20. A guided visualization that pairs with the audio across 4 areas of life, valued at $29. And a 1-page infographic of 5 daily habits that keep gamma activated long-term, valued at $12. That is $80 in bonuses, included with a $39 audio. And the guarantee is the part most people never hear about. You have 90 days to test it. If at any point you decide it was not for you, the refund is 1 click and the bonuses are yours to keep. The refund does not strip the bonuses out. The bonuses are a way of honoring the time you invested, regardless of what you decide. Before you search anywhere else for the audio, there is something you need to know quietly, in the tone of someone protecting you rather than alarming you. There are imitations circulating online that use similar names, but do not contain the calibrated gamma frequency Dr. Lake developed. The only legitimate version is the one in the description and pinned comment below. Wear stereo headphones, sit upright, close your eyes, listen once a day for 7 minutes, and let consistency do what intensity cannot. If your spirit confirms, the link is below. If it does not, return to the rest of this message. There is more for you either way. And after today's piece takes root, the next phase will reveal itself when your spirit is ready, not before. Now, take a breath. We are stepping into the part most people skip, because all of this, the signs, the reasons, the Greek word, the announcement, none of it lands the way it is meant to land if there is not one last thing addressed. And that last thing is the doubt that has been sitting underneath everything you just heard. You have been waiting for so long that your nervous system trained itself to expect disappointment. So when an announcement arrives, your first response is suspicion. This is not a lack of faith. This is the natural response of a heart that learned to protect itself when the heavens went quiet for too long. The doubt is not weakness. The doubt is armor, and the armor served you. It kept you from collapsing under hopes that did not arrive on the schedule you needed them to arrive on. But the armor was always temporary, and the season has come where the same heart that learned to protect itself can now learn, gently, to receive again. You are allowed to believe again, not naively, wisely. The same discernment that the weight built in you is the discernment that will tell you when it is safe to open your hands. If you are willing, type the words "I release" into the comments. Not because the comment matters, because the act of putting your fingers in agreement with your spirit moves the doubt from inside you to outside you. And the moving is part of how the new season is allowed to land. So now let me show you who you are on the other side of this release. You are one whom the Father has remembered by name. Not the version of your name that other people know, the version of your name that He gave you before anyone else met you. You are positioned for divine timing. Kairos finds the prepared, and the prepared is who you have become through everything you walked through. You are the answer to your ancestors' prayers, the faithfulness of every person who came before you, the prayers your great-grandmother whispered that you never heard, the quiet hopes carried in your bloodline that nobody recorded. They are landing on you in this season. And finally, you are ready to be found. The wait taught you what readiness feels like. And readiness, in the language of the heavens, is the loudest signal there is. Now, before we close, I want to lead you through one quiet inner activation, and you can do it exactly where you are. Whether you are sitting on a couch, lying on a bed, sitting in a car, or standing somewhere quiet, you do not need to move your body for this. In your mind, I want you to picture yourself standing at the threshold of a doorway. The room behind you is the room of your wait. It is dim, and you have been there for a long time, and it has been honored. You are not leaving it bitterly. You are leaving it gratefully. In front of you, light is spilling through the doorway from the room ahead, and in your hand, there is a sealed scroll. The seal on it has been holding shut for years. As you stand there, the seal breaks. You do not have to read the words. You simply have to feel the weight of the announcement settle into your hands. Take one breath. Notice the shift in the room. The scroll is open. Take another slow breath here, because we are stepping into the closing. What you have walked through tonight is not a small thing. You stayed long enough to receive what was being released, and that staying is itself an answer to a prayer you may not even remember praying. Before I speak the closing words, I want you to picture every single year of waiting as a stone in your hand. You have been gripping these stones for so long that your fingers do not remember what it feels like to be empty. Now, slowly, in your imagination, open your fingers, let the stones fall. The announcement does not need them anymore. You are remembered. You are timed. You are released. And before this message ends, I hear the Spirit saying once more, quietly, with finality, I have spoken. It is announced. It is done. If something inside you has shifted tonight, type the words "it is done" into the comments below, and let it be your way of agreeing with what the heavens have already settled. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, there are other chosen ones standing at the same threshold you are standing at, and the destiny that has been embracing them all along is meeting them in this exact hour. When the next phase of this reveals itself to you, you will recognize it. You will simply know. Trust that recognition. It is sealed. If this message brought clarity to confusion, if it brought peace to chaos, if it brought confirmation to what you have been feeling but could not name, let your like be your amen, without words. There are other messages being prepared for what you are about to walk into. Stay close. And one more thing before you go. If, while you were listening, someone came to mind, someone who has been unusually quiet lately, someone whose hope has been dimming, someone whose wait has gone on longer than yours, someone you know is faithful but tired, send this to them. Text it, email it, send it however you need to. Your obedience could be the announcement they are waiting to receive. You are not the same person who pressed play. The announcement has already begun.